Welcome back to Fat Butcher Rips, and it is part 2 of a proper case break of 24-25 Series 2 Upper Deck Hockey. Let's rip into it. All right, box 1, let's go. All right, let's dig in. All right. Looks like we're going to get started with our outburst right out of the gate for this box. And it's Thomas Bordeleau. And our first teammates. These are weird. This looks like a father and son like photo studio setup. These are strange, but Michkov and Fedotov, or as he's actually known, Fedotov. Okay. We got 3 other teammates to find in this case, so it's nice to get on the board with our teammates. There's worse things to get, I guess. I'll assume. Matias Maccelli, pumped, as he should be, I guess. Robertson on the renewed, like that. And a Lucas Raymond on a heater. And a bit of base with Brock Besser at the end. All right, let's see. Can we get a base Celebrini to go with the Michkov that we pulled in the first part of this? That would be ideal. All right, Mark Stone. Nice solid vet UD exclusives. Could do a lot worse than a Mark Stone UD exclusive. So not going to have a problem with that. And Drew Commesso, young goalie. Definitely boxed out of an opportunity with the Hawks now that they've picked up Spencer Knight. Mrazek is even boxed out, I believe, at this point, given how he's played since he was injured earlier this year. So maybe Commesso will land somewhere else. And it looks like we have our case hit pink that will look purple Dazzler. Let's see what we've got going on here. Roman Josi. They're telling me it's pink. You can tell me it's pink. That thing looks purple to me, but fair enough. And Brady Chuck. And William Nylander on the renewed. David Kampf base. All right. There is at least, I think, 4 more Young Guns. So we've hit a numbered card. We've hit our case hit Dazzlers. I mean, we've had some interesting stuff already, so that's good. On tour with the Leafs. Jackson Blake is a solid Young Gun, certainly top 5 to 7. We'll sleeve Jackson Blake right away. All of the Young Guns will eventually find their home in a sleeve, but to save a small amount of time, we'll only sleeve the ones that really move the needle for us. UC Saros, very meant to be intimidating. For some reason, not intimidating to me. John Carlson, bang for your puck, and a Draisaitl on the old iPod Shuffle. And we move on to the second stack. Let's see what our luck gives us here. Looks like we've got a speckled of the aforementioned Peter Mrazek, who will probably be looking for a new employer. Victor Mancini is on the checklist, so we'll take it. Bedard on the playlist, boy. And some base. Talk about cats who are struggling. My guy Bedard is really locked up. It's not even looking dangerous when he's on the ice, which is a problem. Jacob Trouba. Seth Jones, bang for your puck. He's got multiple inserts as a Blackhawk, unfortunately, in Series 2. Raymond on electricity, and Cole Smith. All right. We got here 4 or 5 packs left. Let's see if we can get a decent little Young Gun happening. Looks like we're going to have another teammates by the studio portraiture nature of that background. McDavid on a heater is nice. I like that. Nice little textured. And there we go. We got the other top teammates, Celebrini and Smith. Okay. I mean, if you're going to get teammates, those are good teammates to have. Both have tremendous upside. Vanacek on Ooh La La. He just got moved along, so Ooh La La, and pack your bags. All right. And we've got our base. And we've got a fluorescence of, is that the rat? Yep, Marat Kuznetsov, red fluorescence. Okay, let's see. Speckle, Fantilli Johnson, and Lane Hudson, welcome aboard. That's a solid little, couple dollar card. Moves, it helps move the bottom line a little bit. Most of these inserts are not going to net you a whole lot of value. Will Smith is another that is pretty solid. Ivan. Have not pulled this one myself, so at least now I know I can make a full set. We got that going for us, and a bit of base. All right, last pack, box one. Let's get something. Let's get something fun here. See what we can find. All right, looks like we're gonna have a renewed of sorts. Cole Perfetti. I like that. I like that Jets jersey. That's fun. Vasilevsky. That's a nice looking. Honestly, most of the goalies in the reneweds have looked pretty cool. On tour with Taylor Hall and Connor Bedard. The look on Bedard's face there, everyone can see it, is basically his resting face at this point, which is some version of what is happening, what am I seeing, what happened when I made that great pat. Like nothing good's going on in his world at the moment, so hopefully things improve. Okay, speaking of things improving, it was an okay first box. Not a home run by any stretch. Got a couple of decent teammates, young guns, for what it's worth. So let's clear this one down and see if we can't get box two going and pull something a little bit more exciting. Here we go. All right, here we go. Okay, we got our base, and we've got an on tour, the Red Wings, black parallel. Those are pretty rare. I don't know why it doesn't really stand out as a black parallel, but I did pick that up, so it must have some distinguishing factor. And then the Rupe Hintz on the renewed, kind of a weak, not very dynamic design on that one. It's fine as renewed goes. It's fine. The regular on tour. Yep, regular on tour. And then Maximilian Suber. Fun name. Yeah, we'll put this on tour over here because it matters so much. Brad Marchand on electricity, downtown Boston. Here we go. And a bit of base. All right. This one's a little funky on the packaging. That led to a Michkov in box one in the first break in our earlier video. So we'll see what we got here. William Eklund. I don't know, going on like a hike or something. That's cool. Austin Matthews, bang for your puck, and a Hellebuck, ooh la la. Dylan Strome amongst my base. All right, well, that kind of funky pack wrapper did not lead to a home run inside the pack by any stretch. I guess that theory is shot now. Blake Coleman is a black and white canvas, so somewhat rare. Hronik on the speckle, and Urson ooh la la base. Okay, getting to this bottom of our first stack. Not quite there yet, couple to go. Let's see what we got. We got Couturier, Charlie McAvoy on the portrait, and Ponomarev, young gun. It's fine. Zegras, electricity, and our base with Harley. Ponomarev, he was meant to have, I think, more upside than he currently is viewed as having, which is disappointing, but never know. Maybe he picks it back up here. Noah Hannafin looking dapper in his canvas. Okay. Cale Makar, really like that renewed. Nice. And the Preds on tour. And some base with Braden Shen at the back. All right. Let's see what our second stack has. Our young guns have been light here so far, so let's see if we can't pull some decent young guns. And Braden Shen is our outburst. Nolan Allen, nice little defensive defenseman for the Blackhawks. I'm going to give Blackhawks prospects probably more of a benefit of the doubt than other squads. Like if Nolan Allen was on the Islanders, you'd get a real like not happy vibe when I pulled that. So, but I'll own it for myself. Joey Decord, super pumped. Man, wilding out. Aho on the renewed, and a heater of Panarin. So look, I know myself well enough to know that I'm hyping up Nolan Allen beyond any realistic application of his skills. And we've got a fluorescence. What is this? Siklikov or? Oh, Ishkov to 50, blue to 50. Okay. And a Chronic and an Ethan Cardwell. One of the many sharks, just not the shark you're after. And McGroarty is a nice little man overboard. I know that's not what it's called, but I have to amuse myself with those. I don't know that I really want to give this guy a top loader, but it's a nice looking card. I mean, that blue is really clean looking. It's to numbered to 50, but it's our guy Ruslan here, who isn't really that great. It's a real conundrum, but I'm going to top load it anyway, because we need something up there. It's lonely on that table. All right, Austin Matthews. Speckle. Fine. Nikolai Kovalenko. Not great. UPL on the Ooh La La. And some base with a Natty Mac and Austin Matthews checklist. All right, let's get these last two going, see what we can find. And we're going to have a canvas of Drew Doughty. Getting pumped with the guys. And a nice little Celebrini portraits. It's not going to break the bank like his Young Guns certainly could. But as we say, it builds the value. So, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. You need to nickel and dime sometimes. And we've got our Bruins tour. Declan Carlisle is our Young Gun. Hanzik. Yeesh. Okay, Mrazek, who we've talked at length about, has some problems getting some ice time, I would imagine. Okay, 2 boxes down, slow going. We can't sugarcoat it. It's not going great. Yeah, we'll clear this one down, see if we can't start to turn the tide. All right, so last box of the second part of this case. Hopefully there's something pretty decent in here hiding, and it's okay. We start with a base deluxe of Tolvanen to 250, number 59 at 250. Deluxe in general is nothing bad. Nothing bad with a deluxe. It's just the name attached. And we got a Rempe on the Dazzlers. Stützle, I like that Stützle renewed. That's pretty nice. And some base. Yeah, just not hitting a great name on that deluxe is a problem, but out of your control. All you can do is get the opportunities, right? All right, looks like we're going to have another Teammates based on the photo studio. And got an Adam Pelech Bang for Your Puck. And this is one we haven't seen. Gauthier and Zellweger. Probably the... I mean, I don't even think probably. I think definitely the least sought after of the Teammates ones, as sought after as any of them will be, but, and some base. Those two do not look happy to be in a portrait together by any stretch. All right, here we go. And we're going to have a canvas of Erik Karlsson, thanking the hockey gods, and Pasta on the heater, and Linus Ullmark. A lot of Bruins action here, along with a Penguin. So pretty northeastern centric box we got going on. Okay, well we've got our deluxe. We've got a teammate. Let's see if we can kind of spice it up a little more than that. Ryan Graves outburst, probably not doing it. And here we go. It's the other Teammates Young Gun of Lane Hudson and Logan Mailloux. So we've gotten all four, which is nice. And we've also gotten the checklist. So we've got all the multiplayer Young Guns taken care of. No Celebrini. That's not great. I'm sure he'll show up at some point in the case, but earlier would be appreciated just to take the the sweat out of it. Albert Johansson Young Gun Canvas. Okay. Mitch Marner, I like that. Nice, nice renewed. Stützle and Marner is a nice Radko Gudas. Bang for your puck. Nice Sid on the base, amongst others. Marner and Stützle on the renewed. Pretty decent twosome. We got one more renewed, I think, coming in this box. So nice, solid renewed haul so far. Bolduc on that portrait, and Prichapov Young Gun for the Avs. Avs have a ton of Young Guns in here, none of which are like home run guys, but Prichapov is kind of middle of the pack on a not super high-end group to begin with. And this is nice. Okay, we're just complaining when we got the who's we? I was just complaining when we pulled the deluxe of Tolvanen, and honestly, to a degree, when I pulled that blue fluorescence, that we're hitting decent stuff, we're just hitting bad names. Well, this is something decent, and it's a decent name. Jackson Blake is definitely a top 5 to 6 Young Gun out of this class. These are basically case hits for the most part, usually 1, maybe up to 2 in a case. So pulling Jackson Blake is a big one. You know what? I almost did it again. I almost didn't pull the rest or go through my rest of my pack. I did that in the last video. Makhmadulin Speckle and Pasta playlist. Again, those speckles just don't carry a lot of extra weight to them, even though they are somewhat rare. I venture to guess if you were trying to pull a full set of speckles together, you could probably get it at a relatively cheap price, but if you're trying to do it through pack opening, good luck. I think you'd really struggle. Canucks on tour. Matt Steinberg. Honestly, of the Avs, you want Callum Ritchie or kind of bust. Bedard Electricity, I mean, I used to work in that building, so I do like that picture. And Anderson. All right. My hopes aren't really high to have anything great because we've already pulled some really awesome stuff out of this last box, so everything here is just gravy. Love that image of UPL on the canvas. Absolutely love it. Loving those cross sabers. Good stuff. Sorokin on the renewed. Very nice one. So 3 really good reneweds here. And Brisson rookie portraits. Brisson traded. So the Gold Knights is a bit outdated on that, but otherwise fine. All right. What else do we got in here? We've got another speckle. It's Jack Hughes. And Andre, don't call me Anders Lee, with the Kings, kind of an older guy, probably not a lot to go on there. Demko, Ooh La La, and some base with Morgan Frost, bringing up the rear. And we got 2 more packs in this section of our case break. Let's see what we can find. All right, another canvas, Wyatt Johnston, getting pumped, love it. Love that imagery. McDavid Draisaitl on tour. Can't beat that. I mean, you can, but as on tours go, you probably can't. And Aho. Downtown Carolina, I guess. Here we go. And last pack. Let's see if we can make it a good one. What do we got here? Something shiny, which doesn't mean much because there's a lot of shiny inserts in here. Nick Suzuki. Okay. Stankoven on the all aboard. I know it's not all aboard. That's a train. Connor Geekie. Very nice Young Gun to go out on. Again, one of the relatively better Young Guns in a thin crop. So happy to pull that. Okay. Let's clear this down. We'll do a quick recap and we'll let everybody get on out of here. All right. Here we go. We got a nice mix of reneweds, including Stützle, Marner, and Sorokin in that last box, and Vasilevsky, so Makar, good stuff. We got 1 canvas Young Gun of Albert Johansson. We got a black and white of Blake Coleman. We got the black of On Tour. We got a Mark Stone exclusives to 100, which is nice. We have got Marat red fluorescence. We've got the Lane Hudson Welcome Aboard, it's fine. Will Smith, Portraits, it's fine. Celebrini Portraits, it's fine. And then Tolvanen on our deluxe. So all good stuff. And then we got a whole bunch of Young Guns. Whole lot. Blake, really nice. Don't mind that. Connor Geeky, nice. We got all 4 of the Studio Portrait teammates. Sharks, Flyers, Ducks, and Habs. And finally, we got Ishikov on the blue fluorescence to 50. And probably the best card of the case so far, I would imagine. You know, the Duchesne Red Outburst in the part 1 was solid, but clear cut Jackson Blake Young Gun is pretty sharp. Like that one a lot. All right. So thanks everybody for checking this this one out. I've got a couple more in this case to go. So hopefully you'll check those out as well. Please, if you get an opportunity, comment, like, and subscribe. It's really appreciated. And I will catch you in the next one.